Hello guys and gals, Buffalo here. Bring a little color to you today from the Buffalo range. We're taking a look at the Walther PK380, and just as the name suggests, it's a 380 chambered in 380 ACP. It's a polymer frame pistol, stands about 5.2 inches tall. It's about 1.2 inches on the width and 6.5 inches long. It is a double action, single action. Got an advertised trigger pull of about 11 pounds on the double action pull and 4 pounds on the single action, though I'm getting quite a bit more than that according to my Lyman scale here, measuring the single action pull, as you can see. It's got a slide mounted safety. Now it's not a decocker, nor does it disengage the trigger when it's on safe. All it does is rotates a little block down in the way to block the firing pin, and that's its sole purpose. In fact, to decock this gun, if you find you've got it cocked and need to decock it, it's recommended that you put it on safe, point it in a safe direction, pull the trigger, and ease that hammer down. So, I mean, it's not going to go off even if you let the hammer fall hard. It's got a block in here to block the safety, but that's how they recommend doing it in the owner's manual. So not a decocker, not a trigger disengagement, just a firing pin block is the safety. Now it's got an internal safety. It is it's drop safe. You know, it's got an internal firing pin block as well that's engaged with the trigger. But as far as the external, and it is ambidextrous. It's also got ambidextrous mag release, a little bit different than what I'm used to seeing anyway. Got a little paddle under the trigger, beneath the trigger guard and to the rear. You just flip that paddle down and it can be operated from either side. It's also ambidextrous. There's from that side, and here's from this side. The magazines jump right out. I like that about it. It's got a loaded chamber indicator by way of a port there in the side of the chamber where you can look in and see if you can see brass or not. Of course, if you can see brass, you've got one in the chamber. Now, that's only going to help you if it's light outside. If it's dark, you're gonna have to trust that you've got it loaded. So that comes down to training, I guess. But I also got some nice slide serrations on the slide. Got an accessory reel if you wanted to mount lasers or any kind of doodads like that. I normally don't mount a lot of things on my guns, but it is there if you wanted to mount something on there. In fact, they offer a model direct from the factory with the laser already on it. So a lot of people tend to like that. Like I say, it's not really for me, but if it'll help you, hey, go for it. The little gun's got some pretty nice sights on it, 3-dot sights. The rear is adjustable for windage just by drifting it back and forth. So, you know, they're low profile, so they're not likely to snag, but yet they stand up good enough to where you can get a pretty good sight picture with these sights. A lot of 380s on the market, you know, got some pretty shady sights on them, so pretty nice to have good sights on a gun. Now this little pistol operates on the Browning tilt barrel locked breech style of operation, and that really smooths out the recoil and makes the slide really, really light. You can use a light recoil spring on a 380 like this. That's a big difference from some of the other 380s that are simple blowback operation. The slides can be really hard to rack, and even for just a small 380, they can have quite a recoil impulse. This little pistol is one of the smoothest 380s I've ever shot, if I can get my words out today. Now this pistol is a little larger than some of the other 380s on the market. Seems to be a trend toward getting 380s into the smallest package as possible. Of course, you lose a lot of your features when you get a pistol down that small. But this one's got a 3.66 inch barrel and an 8+1 capacity. Most of the 380s on the market, not all of them, but most of them are trending down toward 5 or 6 round capacity and you know, 2 inch or shorter barrels. So fairly good sized pistol. In fact, I've got my car CM9 out here today. Been carrying it quite a bit, as you guys know that follow the channel. And this pistol is a fair amount larger than my 9mm car. So that might beg the question, if you can get a 9mm into a package this size, why would you want a 380? Well, there's several reasons for that. Number one, you know, a little bit larger pistol gives you more capacity. As I was saying, the car is a 6+1. Even though it is 9mm, you lose a couple rounds capacity versus the 8+1 on the PK380. And I'm not trying to do a direct comparison with the car. I love this little pistol. Just, it's not for everyone. It's really snappy, low capacity. It's just, it's not something that not everyone is going to feel comfortable with. The little 380 here, although it doesn't have the power of the 9mm as far as round per round, it's really comfortable to shoot. The slide just racks so easy when compared. I mean, that, like I say, I'm not knocking this gun. It is what it is. It's a micro 9mm, but that slide, you know, there's just some people that's not going to be able to operate that, whereas they could something like this. Recoil is just really smooth. We'll shoot here in a minute, and I'll try to demonstrate some of that. But easy to stay on target. You can shoot a little faster because your muzzle's not jumping around as bad as it is with one of these. Just, you know, several reasons why you might want to carry a 380, even though you could get a 9mm into that same size package. And of course, having that little bit of a longer barrel is going to give you just a little bit more velocity out of that anemic 380 round. So basically, not everybody will have the hand strength and that mentality just to shrug off the snappiness of a little tiny 9mm, whereas they may be able to deal with a 380. And if it makes them comfortable, makes them a better shooter, and gives them something that they can train with, and that's key, man. You know, if you got something that hurts your hands, you're not going to shoot with it very much. You could actually get good with something like this, even if you're not a firearms enthusiast like a lot of us are. That, you know, you're probably watching this video as a firearms enthusiast. I know I am. Even if you're not, even if you're just getting a pistol and you just want to train maybe once a week, go out and do some shooting, you could really get good with something if you're comfortable shooting and it's not tearing your hands off every time you pull the trigger. All right, so I've talked about the safety and I've talked about the mag release a little bit. Something else I want to hit on here is its lack of a slide release, meaning that when you shoot this gun to the last round, the slide stays locked back, which is a feature I like. You don't see that on some of the other 380s. The thing that a lot of people on other video reviews that I've watched and some of the forums that I frequent, they really get down on this gun for not having an external slide release. For me, that's not an issue. I never hardly use, even on this gun has one, but I never use it. I always use the slingshot method. This one, you have to remove the magazine to release that slide forward. But the only time I've got an empty magazine in, I'm either needing another magazine in or I'm done with the gun for the day. So to me, that's not really an issue. I've always just, and the same goes for if I'm putting let's go with a live round here. Let's see. That 9mm round's not going to fit in there. Go with a live round here. I'm not going to shoot, but just to demonstrate, you've empty magazine. You've shot the lock back. You're going to have to discard this mag anyway or get it out and reload it. That's another thing I wanted to mention. It only does ship with the one magazine, but you can buy extra magazines, of course. I think they're about 25 bucks or so, under 30. But you're going to have to run another magazine in it regardless. So when you change that mag, you're ready to slingshot it in. So now we're hot. So not having it on the external part of the gun actually keeps this this side of the gun really streamlined, really smooth. There's nothing sticking out. Not even a takedown lever, which I'll go ahead and talk about that too. In order to take this gun down, you got to have a tool. That's a deal breaker for some people. I don't like it myself. I don't think you should have to have another tool around to take your gun down. Now, this is a Walther tool, but a Schrader valve tool for a tire will work. It's just got a fork in the end of it, just like you're taking a valve out of a tire. Put that in here, rotate it counterclockwise. So then you can pull your takedown tabs down and the slab will just come right off. It doesn't have a captive spring, so be careful when you're taking this. Whoop, and I just shot it out just after telling you guys to be careful. So be careful when you take your guide rod out. I think I might as well go ahead and show you that. It doesn't have a captive spring. Putting the spring back in, you want to hold it down on the guide rod. Put the guide rod through and place it back where it goes. So it's not a tough thing to do, but you do have to have a tool, whether it be the tool that came with the gun or a Schrader valve tool. Just rotate that back clockwise. Guys, I am burning up. I'm starting to sweat. I'm gonna have to bring this review to a close. Presentation, whatever it is you'd like to call it. But these run about 350 bucks. As you can see, this one's in purple. Kind of pretty like that. Not real big on bright colors on my firearms, but you know, a lot of people get into firearms, they like those colors. And you know, I've got nothing against it, it just doesn't really float my boat. But we'll do a little shooting here, get this magazine loaded up. And I wanted to mention too, this magazine is one of the easiest mags to load up. I mean, it takes very little pressure to put those rounds in. Doesn't bruise your thumbs up. Got 8 rounds in. It's got little windows there on the side so you can see what you've got in it. Get my ears in. Decock this thing. We're hot. Let's do a little shooting. Oh, we got a little bit of a malfunction. Had a little fail to feed there right off the bat. Let's see if we can't run this thing again. That's the first failure that I've had with it. I'm glad to catch it on camera. You know, a lot of times people think you edit that stuff out. I'm actually glad when it happens. I like to show that it happens, and it happens to everybody, and it happens to every gun every now and then, but I don't always catch it on camera. So we got this one on camera, but let's hope it don't happen again. Let's try it. Bump that magazine in and the slide closed by itself. So put it on fire here. Let's see if it runs a little better. We'll go for those 4 targets. Hopefully you guys can see those. I don't know how this video's looking. Nice. Ran flawless that time. Let's load it back up here. All right, let's see if it put it on safe. Let's see if it'll slam that. Yeah, slide closes when you slam the magazine home, so you don't have to worry about slingshotting it. Put it in fire. Man, that's at about 10 yards. That's a good shooting little 380. Load it back up. Sorry I'm taking so long. I've only got the one magazine. Try not to edit too much out. People think you're either trying to make a gun look better than it is or worse than it is if you heavily edit your shooting parts. I've never had a reason to do that in my videos, but I've been accused of it. So tap it on the bottom, right closes. I already got it on fire. Let's shoot this other little one. Had a malfunction of some sort. I'm going to try a second shot with the double action trigger pull and see what happens. Nothing. So we'll see. Didn't pick a round up when I slammed that magazine in. Didn't pick a round up. Try it again. Nice. Pretty slick. Go ahead and finish this box of shells off. I call them shells because I'm an old redneck. I know they're cartridges, but shells belong in a shotgun, don't they? All right, last full magazine. Slide didn't go forward that time. Well, let's shoot. We'll put 2 over here, then 2 over there. Pretty nice. Try it again. Pretty nice little shooter. Did have a couple little bobbles, but that's just some of the, you know, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but every gun, you know, is a little bit different. I'm not used to running this gun, obviously. Shoot straight. Man, easy to shoot, soft shooter. I got one more round left laying here. Might as well shoot it. And under the right circumstances, you know, this may be a little gun you want to look at. Seems to be priced right. If you fall in that category where maybe you don't have the hand strength to run a 9mm of this size, but you still need a small gun, you know, maybe something you want to look at, you know, may not be. I'm not here to try to sell anybody on anything. I show different things on my channel, and if people like it, they like it. If they don't, hey, you know, maybe I've helped them out in that way too. Put it on safe, send the slide home, put it on fire. I've got one shot. We'll take it one-handed at that far target. Man, you can almost call your shots with this thing. Guys, that's all I got today. This is Buffalo, and I'll talk with y'all again soon.